The phone call that was supposed to happen didn't happen. PGA Tour and LIV Golf, after 2 years of talks, 2 White House meetings with President Trump personally brokering, just stopped. No announcement. No explanation. They stopped returning each other's calls. $4.58 billion. That's how much Saudi Arabia has spent on LIV Golf since 2022. By year's end, it hits $5 billion. More than Disney paid for Marvel, more than Facebook paid for Instagram. And for what? A golf league that made $82 million in revenue last year while losing $500 million just in the UK entity alone. $500 million gone. Jon Rahm's contract was $300 million. December 2023. He was Masters champion, world number 3. At the peak of his career, they gave him a private jet, ownership in his team, guaranteed money whether he plays well or not. Phil Mickelson got $200 million in 2022. Dustin Johnson, Bryson DeChambeau, Brooks Koepka, all 9 figures. Over $1 billion just signing players. The plan was simple. Spend so much money, the PGA Tour has no choice but to merge. Force reunification. Take over professional golf. It almost worked. June 2023. Jay Monahan, the PGA Tour commissioner, shocked everyone with a framework agreement. LIV had won. Golf was reunifying, except there was a deadline. December 31st, 2023. That deadline passed. Nothing happened. The PGA Tour signed with Strategic Sports Group instead, American billionaires. $1.5 billion. Suddenly, the tour wasn't desperate anymore. April 2025. The Saudis made another offer, $1.5 billion, to match Strategic Sports Group, but with conditions. LIV keeps existing after the merger. Yasir Al-Rumayyan, the PIF governor, becomes co-chairman of PGA Tour Enterprises. The PGA Tour read the offer on a Monday, rejected it that same day. They wanted one tour, not 2. Scott O'Neill became LIV's new CEO recently. He says something interesting. We don't need a deal anymore. LIV is fine on its own. Growing. Expanding. The television numbers say otherwise. LIV's deal with the CW network in 2023 averaged 200,000 to 300,000 viewers for final rounds. The PGA Tour? $2.66 million across 26 events this past season. When they went head-to-head on Saturdays, it was 11-1. 1.95 million watched Pebble Beach. 168,000 watched LIV Las Vegas. Not even close. They signed with Fox Sports for 2025. Real sports network. Except most coverage isn't on Fox. It's FS1, FS2, Fox Business Network. FS2 averaged 28,000 viewers on weekends. 28,000. High school football does better. Some FS1 broadcasts hit 63,000. The 2024 championship final round, Jon Rahm winning $18 million, drew 89,000 people. 89,000 people watched the season finale of a league that spent billions. TV revenue for the PGA Tour is over $500 million annually. LIV made $3 million in 2023. $3 million. They're not breaking even on production costs. Not even close. 54 holes instead of 72. 3 days instead of 4. Shotgun starts. Team golf with made-up teams called Smash, GC, and Range Goats. Players wearing microphones. DJs at the first tee. It's supposed to feel different. Younger. More energy. Golf fans don't want different. They want Augusta National. Pebble Beach. Riviera, courses with history. LIV plays random clubs nobody's heard of. No prestige. Winning a LIV event doesn't mean what winning the Arnold Palmer Invitational means. Forget about majors. The team thing is the worst part. 4 guys competing individually, while also competing for team points that nobody understands or cares about. The team championship in 2024 drew 128,000 viewers, less than a random PGA Tour event on Golf Channel. Brooks Koepka won the PGA Championship in 2023 as a LIV player. You know what he said after? That he hopes the merger happens soon. He wants back in. They all do. You can see it in their faces when they talk about missing the Ryder Cup. LIV moved to 72 holes for some events in 2025. They reapplied for official world golf ranking points, because that's the real problem. Without OWGR points, LIV players are falling. Rahm was number 3 when he left. By mid-2025, he dropped to 8th despite playing great golf. Lower rankings mean fewer major spots. Fewer major spots mean invisibility. Bryson won the US Open in 2024 as a LIV player. That saved their credibility. But what happens when LIV players stop qualifying for majors altogether? When they're not at Augusta, Shinnecock, St. Andrews, they disappear. Operating costs. $54 million per tournament in 2022. 6 events. $102 million for 14 events in 2023. Add player salaries, production, travel, marketing, Hundreds of millions per year just to exist. Operating losses in 2022 were 244 million dubo. 2023 jumped to 394 million. The Saudi PIF keeps issuing new shares to cover losses. 654 million in new capital in 2025 alone. 1.9 billion added since January 2024. Saudi Arabia can afford it. The PIF is worth over $1 trillion. 5 billion is pocket change. But spending 5 billion on something generating 82 million in revenue isn't investing. It's vanity. Even the Saudis can't do vanity forever. Oil prices have been volatile, not catastrophically, enough to matter. When oil dips below $70 a barrel, the PF starts looking at its portfolio differently. LIV becomes harder to justify when it's not accomplishing its mission. The mission was never just golf. It's sports washing. Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030. Diversify from oil. Improve global image. LIV Golf, the Saudi International, golf courses along the Red Sea. It's all the same strategy. Make Saudi Arabia look modern, Western, legitimate. It's not working. LIV is seen as the villain, the league that broke up golf, funded by a regime with a terrible human rights record. Families of 9/11 victims protested LIV events. Every article mentions Jamal Khashoggi, the journalist murdered by Saudi agents in 2018. That's not the image they wanted. The PGA Tour is stronger now than in 2022. Designated events concentrate the best players at the biggest tournaments. Purses are up. Scottie Scheffler made $62 million in 2024 without leaving. Rory McIlroy, Xander Schauffele, Colin Morikawa, all making more than ever. The tour proved it doesn't need guaranteed contracts. They can pay through performance. Tiger turned down 700 to 800 million to join LIV. Rory turned down 500 million. They stayed because legacy matters. Jack Nicklaus didn't win 18 majors on guaranteed money. Tiger didn't dominate the 2000s taking checks for showing up. They earned it. LIV players know this. Not the money part, never the money, but the irrelevance. Playing exhibitions while real golf happens somewhere else. Brooks Koepka left LIV recently. Not officially. He stopped showing up. The contracts have exit clauses based on performance. LIV isn't suing. A legal battle would expose how fragile this is. The PGA Tour doesn't want a merger anymore. That's what nobody says out loud. Trump pushed it hard in early 2025. 2 White House meetings. Photos with Monahan and Al Rumayyan. Trump thinks a deal would be great for golf. But Monahan said something at the Players' Championship. He'll only do a deal on tour terms. Won't diminish the platform. Translation: we don't need you. Strategic Sports Group changed everything. Fenway Sports Group, Cohen Private Ventures, Arthur Blank. Serious American money with no political baggage. $1.5 billion into PGA Tour enterprises with the option to double. That money has zero conditions about keeping LIV alive or giving Saudis control. Clean, American. What the tour wanted all along. Scott O'Neill says LIV is going to the moon, expanding, growing. But the Fox deal doesn't generate revenue. It's revenue sharing. Fox takes ad sales, gives LIV a cut. If nobody's watching, nobody's advertising. No ads, no revenue to share. Sponsorships don't exist. Watch a LIV broadcast. No IBM, no Rolex, no Mercedes. Minimal course branding. Players wear team logos nobody recognizes. No ecosystem. No foundation. The Asian Tour partnership is the backup plan. International series, a feeder system where top finishers get promoted to LIV, building credibility, creating a talent pipeline. But international series events get even less attention. Small purses, tiny crowds, not growing the game, burning Saudi money in a different region. Greg Norman got pushed out, quietly. They called it restructuring, said Norman would stay involved. He won't. O'Neill is a corporate executive with sports business experience. He's there to make LIV look legitimate. But you can't fix fundamentals with a new CEO. The fundamentals are broken. Billions to operate. Millions in revenue. Viewers aren't coming. Sponsors aren't interested. Players want back into majors. The PGA Tour doesn't need a deal. Saudi Arabia is realizing $5 billion didn't buy what they thought. Yasir Al Rumayyan views LIV as his legacy, personally invested. But the PIF board answers to Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. MBS cares about Vision 2030. If LIV isn't helping, if it's just a money pit generating bad PR, it gets cut. Saudi Arabia doesn't do halfway. They dominate or exit. Watch what happens next. If PIF authorizes another billion for LIV, it continues. If they scale back, ask for cost reductions. Push for OWGR points as a funding condition. That's when you know LIV is in trouble. Rory McIlroy said something recently on the Overlap podcast. The Saudis felt disrespected by the PGA Tour. So they dug in, stood their ground. That's where we are. He doesn't see a resolution coming. Ian Poulter was asked if LIV and PGA will ever merge. One-word answer. Nope. The negotiations went quiet. No meeting scheduled. No phone calls. President Trump tried again at the LIV Miami event at his Doral course. Still optimistic about a merger. Still thinks it'll be great for golf. But Trump doesn't control the PGA Tour. And the PGA Tour doesn't need saving anymore. $5 billion sounds unlimited. It's not. It's the cost of finding out money can't buy everything. Saudi Arabia bought the best players, built a tour from scratch, challenged a century of PGA Tour dominance. They thought money could rewrite history. LIV Golf continues. Same shotgun starts. Same team golf nobody understands. Same broadcasts pulling modest numbers. Same massive prize pools funded by oil money. Same players wondering if they made the right choice. The silence matters. When two sides stop talking, it's not because they're close to a deal. It's because there's nothing left to say. The PGA Tour is fine. LIV is burning $1 billion a year. And Saudi Arabia is starting to ask the question every investor eventually asks. What are we doing this for?